Ooh, it's cold out here. Ooh, it's cold out here. I wanted to wear this without I wanted to be a little scandalous and wear it without the robe. Ooh, it's cold. It's cold. Also, my hair. But that's another day's topic. That's really another day's topic. As you can see, the sun hasn't even risen yet. It is. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like she wants to peek over the mountains. I'm going to put this robe back on. She wants to peek over the mountains. She hasn't quite done it yet, but it's about 7 a.m. I love coming out here to watch the sunrise, and I figured I'd let y'all join me today, and we'd do a little chat. We'd do a little talk. I love talking, and I figured I'd talk with you guys. But my goodness. Okay. Please comment and love and appreciate my Walmart. Y'all know what this is. Y'all know the shit that this is. I was in theme today. I'm trying to rep Statue of Liberty colors, so this is my Statue of Liberty dress. That's what we're gonna call it. But anyway, good morning. If you're watching this in the morning, whatever time you're watching, it's morning for me. Like we said, the sunrise is happening, and I'm sorry if you can hear the freeway. I couldn't find the microphones, and it's really early. I didn't want to look for them. I figured you guys would be okay. But the birds are chirping. My cats are out here playing. It's a nice brisk 65 degree, maybe even lower out here, and it's just like I've been having such spiritual time in the morning. I've been having such a connection to the mornings. Oh my god, I literally feel like fucking Kevin Costner from Yellowstone, where he's like by the way, if y'all like Yellowstone, let me reenact like literally one scene for you. Like anything. This is any scene. You can pick and choose any scene, but it's just this valley. Oh, I forgot to do the lipping and the, like, Kevin Costner does a lot of this valley. There was one scene that I just watched where he was, like, sitting on the porch in the morning, clearly, like, thinking about something. And then Beth came out and she was like, what are you trying to forget? And he's like, honey, I remember everything in the morning. Night time's for forgetting. So, like, wow. So I'm out here first thing in the morning remembering. I can remember in the mornings. I'll forget about everything tonight. But I thought there was a better feeling. I wanted to talk about Statue of Liberty. I wanted to talk about her. If you don't know, I have a song called Statue of Liberty, and she's out right now, and you can go give her a listen literally anywhere. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the lyrics and the meaning and my thought process behind it, like I did with the other one, because I really like videos like this. So if you don't, I really don't care. And one day I'm gonna have like Alzheimer's or something, and I'm not even gonna remember why I wrote my own song. So this would be nice to be able to tell myself in my own like language. I'll understand this. So yeah, the song Statue of Liberty. She's a cute one, isn't she? I like her. So I wrote her like 6 years ago. And that's why I like her even more sometimes, because I'm like, oh, I wrote her so long ago that if I still like her, she must be good. Like, a bad song wouldn't be good 6 years later. But yeah, that's kind of like an older one in my notebook. And that one, oh, I love her. Okay, so to give the backstory, my boyfriend and I have been dating for over 6 years now. I think we're coming up on our 7th. Ooh, scary. And when we were first dating, it was so bizarre to me. Like, even now I look back and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was just this traumatized puppy in the corner who had convinced herself she was this snarling pit bull, and I wasn't. I was very much still this traumatized chihuahua in the corner. And I had this very good way of making people believe that I wasn't, but I was. And so when he and I started dating, it was just like so bizarre. It was really, really bizarre, because it felt like he respected like the pit bull version of me that I put on, but it was like the versions of me that would come out that felt like that little chihuahua. It felt like he didn't take advantage of it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. Like, okay, hold on. And so I just remember when we were first dating feeling really just confused. Like, truly, that's the best word I could use. There were certain elements of men I was trained to expect. There were certain elements of relationships I was trained to expect, and I just kept expecting him to be this beautiful, amazing package that had those things of expectation hidden. Like, I don't know how to describe it. And so anytime he was nice to me, anytime he did things that were really overly boyfriendy, like even just holding the door open for me, I was like, look at this guy. Who is this guy? And like, I started getting really aware of that feeling, and I started sitting with it a lot because I was confused by it, and I was like, why are you so confused at your boyfriend being nice to you? I think we need to unpack that a little bit. And so I was in the middle of unpacking all that, right, when I started packing up to go to New York. So I had this 2-week trip to New York planned, and it was in the beginning of our relationship. So like within a month or two of us meeting and starting to talk and date, I had to leave for 2 weeks to go to New York, and oh my God, I was devastated. You would have thought I was going to war. You would have thought he was going to war. You would have thought one of us was guaranteed death in this 2-week hiatus, because the way like, when you fuck with someone, you fuck with them. And I was fucking with him. And I was like damn near willing to cancel my 2-week vacation to just chill at home with him. And then I was like, no, do not fucking do that. So I went to New York. I had a blast. It was great. It was awesome. And I went to the Statue of Liberty like one does in New York. And it was my first time ever being there. Also, if I see or hear one fucking comment about my voice, I'm gonna lose it. I already don't like my voice as it is. I especially don't like it in the morning. So, there's just so much. Oh my god. There's a lot. I haven't even had a coffee, and okay. So, I go to New York, and I went to the Statue of Liberty again, like one does, and I was in the Ellis Island Museum. And if you don't know, if you've never been to New York, they take you on a ferry to this island called Ellis Island, and there's a whole museum there, and it's really, really interesting. And then you get on another ferry and you go to the actual Statue of Liberty, and that's on its own island. And so I was on Ellis Island, and I was at the museum before I even got to the Statue of Liberty. But she's a mammoth. You can see her from fucking, like, I could see her from here sometimes. I can see the Statue of Liberty from my house. I can. Okay, sidetrack real quick, guys. Sarah Palin could see Russia from her house. I think she's one of the dumbest women to ever walk this earth, but I think a broken clock is right twice a day. She could see Russia from her house. Anyway, let's keep moving. That's like one of... I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Okay, so I'm at Ellis Island Museum. Holy shit, girl, stay in one place. And I was walking around, and I was by myself, and I was just, I love a museum. I'm such a fucking museum girl. I love history. I love just, like, learning about people's stories, learning the stories of the people who came before us, truly. I think it's so interesting, and, like, it puts such a different perspective on the lives that we have now and who we're able to choose to be, truly. Like, I get so emotional at every museum I go to. And so I was at the Ellis Island Museum, and naturally I was becoming very emotional. If you've been to that museum, holy shit, girl, that they really do a good job at making you feel emotionally what someone coming to America through Ellis Island would feel. And I think it makes it richer knowing that you're actually walking the building that they would have to walk. So if you came to America and you were someone who got sick on the boat ride, they would put you in this line, and then they'd, if you were this person, they'd put you over here. And so you walking through these hallways and, like, looking at where you would have to stand if you fit into this demographic or this demographic, it was just like, it makes it so much more real to me. And I love going places like that. And I just remember walking around the museum and crying a lot. And I cry at a lot of museums, but this one was different. And I was having such an experience that I couldn't put I couldn't put it into words, why it was making me feel so deeply. And then I remember getting on the ferry to actually go to the statue and being like, I just remember sitting on the ferry and looking up at her and feeling so moved. I was just like, I cannot imagine what it must have felt like to get on a boat at that time period and to set sail to America and not know if it was going to work out. You have an idea, you have some hopes of what's going to happen, and in some sort of plan that you can muster in that time period, but like in all reality, you have no fucking clue if it's going to work. You don't know what's on the other side of this boat. You don't know anything. You don't know anything, but you're risking your life. You're risking your family's lives. You're saying goodbye to everything you've ever known and everything that's ever been familiar to you to take a chance on it. And that to me is just like so mind-boggling. People can't even make a phone call to a restaurant nowadays. And back then, like, that to me is just like astonishing and so moving. And so I was looking at the statue and I was thinking, man, like, that must have felt just like all that anxiety and all that worry that they had on the boat ride over. You know, you cross this ocean and then you see this big, beautiful statue standing there, and it's just gorgeous, and she's just so full of hope. And it's like, I'm not saying that everything was all roses and daisies once they landed, once they boarded, or, you know, got off the boat, but like, because trust and believe, it was a little bad. But I can only imagine for that split second when they saw the statue and they realized the boat ride was over and that they had made it and there was actually something here to like hope for. I think that just must have felt like the most euphoric feeling in the world before they ended up having to get fucking like prison checked by all the goddamn Ellis Island workers. But I digress. I'm talking about that split second of a moment. And as a writer, it's your job to be able to bring a split second moment feeling to life. And that was the split second moment I wanted to focus on. And so I have this big spiritual connection. I have this big moment with the statue, and then I go home and I keep it with me. Oh my God, when I say I kept it with me, like, I couldn't stop thinking about Ellis Island and like just everyone who came here through that port. And like, I was just so inspired by it. And again, just like what the symbolism of what the statue represented in my mind. So anyway, I'm back here, I'm back home, I'm back with my boyfriend. And like a couple weeks later, we went to this diner, and if you know, you know, Five and Diner, Phoenix, Arizona, if you know, you know. And we went and sat down, and we're just having a nice little late night, like little diner run. And I remember there was this picture. If you've heard the song, you know the lyrics. Come on, sing them with me now. We were sitting at this booth, and I looked up, and there was a picture of the Statue of Liberty. And I was like, oh, I got to see her. Like, hey, love that girl. Me and her go way back. And then he, dead serious, I'm not even fucking kidding, like dead ass serious, like he had planned this the whole night, by the way. It's like, it felt like he had put the picture of the Statue of Liberty there just so that I would say that, and then he could say, no, she got to see you. What? I'm sorry, Queen, what did you just say? Right. She got to see me. Right. I literally laughed for like a split second because I thought he was joking. I truly like didn't even know what to do with words like that. And then when I realized he was being dead serious and he actually meant that and he felt that way, I started bawling my eyes out at this Five and Diner, and the waitress came by to take our order, and I was not ready. I was like, please, I need a moment. And I could tell he was a little confused. He didn't know what to do with all that. But I was like, literally, when I say no one has ever talked to me that way, no one has ever talked to me with such, and this was a build-up, right? This wasn't like me and him had been dating for a month or two, and then this was the first nice thing he ever said to me. That wasn't it. It was like he had been so nice and so patient and so kind and all the things you want a guy to be up until that point. And I was, again, like sitting with that confused feeling already. I still didn't really know what to do with it. And then I go off by myself into the world. I go travel. I have these spiritually moving experiences without him that feel just kind of like they're mine. And then I come back and I'm with him and he's saying these things again, and I'm still confused because I don't know why he's saying these things to someone like me. And I just remember like going home that night and it felt like all of these very deep moments were kind of connecting in my head, and I was like, all of these matter to each other, and I just don't know how yet, and I needed to figure it out. And that's where writing comes in. Guys, I mean it. Like, writing is so, even if you don't feel like you want to publish your stuff, or if you forever just want to keep it in your notebook and for your eyes only, fine. But writing is so useful to figure out your feelings. I feel like 90% of the way I've figured out who I am is through writing about it, and trying to rhyme it with something. But I went home and I was just like, I knew something needed to be written, and I was thinking about that line. I got to see the Statue of Liberty. No, she got to see you. And I wanted to write the whole song from that line and make that the root of it. And I started thinking about why the comment made me cry. I was like, why did that affect you so badly, girl? Like, it was a sweet comment, that, you know? And that is true. Like, I was crying out of happiness. That was more the emotion. But I was like, there's something more. I could tell. And so that's kind of what introduces us into the song. And then we get to the chorus. Which is, we're getting real. And so I started thinking about, okay, well, that made you cry a lot. Why'd you cry? Like, a lot. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh, like, yeah, because truly no one's ever talked to you like that, or been that nice, and been that delicate and fragile with you. Like, not that I'm fragile, but, like, I think there was a sense of, like, understanding that he had at that time period, that things had happened before him. Maybe the version of me that he was meeting at that exact second was fine, but there was a lot of baggage. Look at that sun coming out. Hey, I was getting a little worried about her. I'm not gonna lie. Hey girl, how you doing? Been waiting for you. Oh, gorgeous. I love this view. By the way, I'm sitting, I can't tell if you can tell. I'm on my patio, but I'm outside my patio. I'm damn near about to fall off the building, but I'll be all right. Is she gonna ruin my lighting? Don't ruin my lighting, girl. So, where was I? I think he had that understanding that I was a little previously fragile, maybe. I don't know what he was thinking, but I think once he sensed that about me, he almost maybe upped the compliment like that, like the little cringe. And I always made a big show of it. Like, if he had complimented me before that, like cheesy, corny, like that, not that that was corny, but like he would always do things like that, and I'd be like, ooh, like, oh my God, you and the compliments. But looking back, I'm like, girl, like, I truly just didn't know how to accept a compliment. Like, if he would call me pretty or gorgeous, or like, he'd be like, oh my God, you're the most beautiful thing in the world, I'd be like, gross. Okay, yeah, I'm sure I am. And looking back, I'm like, that was such a juvenile, childish thing to do when a man is complimenting you. Like, I think that just shows your age at that point, because it's like, you clearly just haven't lived enough to have experienced someone actually talking to you like that. So when you hear it, you like, oh my God, so corny, so cheesy, like whatever. I was 19 years old, so yeah, that kind of tracks. And now I'm 27. I'm actually 16, but we'll talk about that later. I'm kind of Benjamin Buttoning this whole situation, but we'll talk about that later. I'm 27 now, and a man talking to me like that is like, as a woman, you know, not that multiple men are talking to me like that, but like, I'm just talking men and women relationally. You can't, like, I don't know, you can't just be like, oh, I can't believe you say that. It's like, no, you have to accept it and just be like, yeah, you know, I am beautiful and I am pretty. But you need a lot of life experience, I think, to get to that point, to be able to accept compliments. Unfortunately, I still see a lot of women, even older than me, who I can tell have a tough time accepting it, and I'm like, you have got to get to a mental state. I feel for that, like, I really, really do, because I feel like I know what that feels like. But I'm at a point now where I'm like, if someone's giving you the compliment, take it, and just don't question it that much. That's kind of my tea. So when I was writing about the song, and I was thinking about why it was making me cry so much to be talked to, and I came to that conclusion. I was like, oh, well, it's because no one's ever talked to you that nicely. And then I was like, but still, okay, but why did that make me cry? So, like, you'd think that'd make me, not that I wasn't happy, but just like, you'd think that would not make me cry. I don't know how to describe it. I just knew I needed to sit with it more. And the more I sat with it, I ended up writing the chorus, and that talks a lot about like the previous life previously mentioned that had all that baggage and that maybe made it a little hard to accept a relationship or a situation like that. And you know, I'm gonna get real, guys. I'm gonna get real vulnerable on here, because what else are we doing if we're not doing that? But I did not have a lot of luck in love growing up, and not just love, but just any relationship I had. I could point an arrow in any direction, and I'd find something that damaged that relationship, whether it was me, whether it was the other person, whether it was just years and years and years of mess ups. There was always something that damaged it to what felt like beyond repair. And if I'm being honest, that didn't even bother me that much about the relationships I had in my life. And I'm talking like not just romantically, platonically, familial, like every relationship you can have, they were damaged in my world. And again, that didn't bother me so much as what bothered me was people not giving a fuck. Like, it felt like I had all of these broken pieces of relationships, and no one wanted to help pick them up with me. No one wanted to sit there in the mud, in the dirt with me and go, you know what, yeah, this is broken and we need to fix this. And you know what, Melissa, you did things wrong, and you know what, I did things wrong, and let's just figure out how we can be the best versions of ourselves for each other. It felt like no one wanted to do that. Everyone wanted to just sit around all day playing the blame game. Everyone wanted to sit there and go, well, Melissa, you fucking, well, if you weren't mean to me at 5 years old, then maybe that's what anyone wanted to fucking do. So, that was just starting to sit with me a little bit more in life. And I don't think I was still surrounded by all these relationships while kind of mourning them almost. And I think there was something about meeting my boyfriend where he had this level of like, he had a very similar background to me. He understood a lot of the relational pain I was carrying with those people. He understood it very intuitively. And also he just felt very like he gave, like, I just don't know how else to describe it. He just seemed like he gave a fuck, and not just about me and my feelings, but like about himself and making himself a better person. And that just stuck out with me, because I was like, if I did bring up something to him, he met it with such like, oh my God, like, yeah, no, I can't believe that happened. Like, I would never do, like, I'm sorry I said that. Like, not that he was doing a lot in the beginning. I was being nitpicky. I was being, you know, because again, I was scared. I was this little chihuahua in the corner who was trying to lick her wounds and accept new love. And it just felt hard. It felt really, really hard. That's truly the best way I can metaphorically describe myself at that time in my life. It was like I was this dog from the shelter who had gotten severely abused, and this new person who was adopting me was trying to be really nice to me, but I was just like hiding in the bathroom going like, no, this person's gonna fucking kill me. Oh, it's not funny, but it kind of is. It's funny because we're out of it. But and yeah, that's really like that is truly the best way I can put it. I was putting up a front like I was some big barking pit bull, but I was all bark, no bite. And in all reality, I was just hiding in the corner waiting for someone to love me, but at the same time could not accept love when it presented itself to me. And I think all in all, that's what made me cry about that diner date that night when he said that to me, and it felt so loving and so gentle. There was a part of me that felt like, I know what this is, I just don't know what to do with it. I literally don't know how to accept it. I don't know how to, like, just let it in my life. I don't know how to not make us a problem. Like, how are we just good right now? That doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, that's the tea. So you I'm trying not to go over my time here, guys. So yeah, you just gotta find someone who's patient with you and who can see all sides of you and see that, like, yeah, you're gonna have some baggage and they're gonna have to be patient with it. And that was kind of the chorus for me, was describing that past and like just being real honest about it with that was kind of, you know, in the song it's more presenting as like you're being honest with your partner about it, but it was more about me being honest with myself about it. And this song is really a lot about that. Like, the romantic interest is there, and my boyfriend is there, and they're there, right? But this is a song about yourself and introspection and like digging a little deeper into why you react to love the way that you do, or that I did. Not putting you in that box. But I just had one bad relationship after another, in all the way up until 20 years old, right? I gave myself a huge chance there. But the relationships I had, like, sometimes I think about that a lot, guys. I think about the fact that I don't want to say settled down, but like, me and my boyfriend got together when we were 20, about to turn 21 years old, and I'm almost 30. And I'm like, there's a lot of my life that has had my boyfriend in it, and I'm very happy about that. I wouldn't trade that for anything. And so sometimes I have this habit of like discrediting my previous dating experience because I'm like, but you were you were like 15, 16, 17. Guys, I was out there. I was out on the streets. I was first on the scene at the streets. When they talk about the streets, I was first on the scene. I had a, like, I can't discredit my previous dating experience just because I was under 20 years old, because it was so, like, there was a lot of it, and it was just, it was what it was. I can't say that didn't happen and that I didn't experience men to a certain degree. And I think about people that I know familially who, like, is that a word? They went their whole lives like only being with one or two guys. And so sometimes, as much as I want to discredit my previous dating relationship for being so young when I had it, there's a part of me that's like, no, I dated. I saw what the pool had to offer, and I wasn't fucking with it at all. And yeah, it was just one guy after another who just didn't measure up in any kind of way, if I'm being real about it. Not to say, and a man cannot measure up and you cannot measure up too. Those are not mutually exclusive. One doesn't cancel out the other. I'm not saying that I measured up in a lot of situations either, but seems like women are trained to take the brunt end of not measuring up a lot more than men are. That's what I'm noticing. I got to figure out a way to measure up while men just get to sit there and not do it. But anyway, I'm going on a rant. So, I was just thinking about all my previous relationships and what they had taught me about love and myself and how I accepted it. And then I was thinking about this new one I was in that was so loving and gentle and nice. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was just having this huge moment with myself where I was like, oh my God, like, I realized why I had been crying so much in the diner. It wasn't because the comment had hit me so deeply. It wasn't because I didn't know how to accept it. It was truly because I was finally accepting it. I was finally understanding that I actually deserved maybe a relationship that was that gentle and kind. And I was actually just feeling bad and remorseful for the version of myself that I didn't allow to have that. I put myself through so much for the sake of love, for the sake of a relationship, for a guy who doesn't seem to give a shit about you at all. And when I was thinking about the things I had to go through to learn that lesson, I was like, oh my God, like, I want to say that wasn't worth it, but like, that hurt a lot. And I don't know if I'm better off for that hurt, but in that little moment of being able to, view my new relationship through the lens that I was, there was a part of me that was like, all that hurt. And that's such a hard give and take. I really still struggle with that, where I'm like, is our pain worth it if it leads us to the happy place that we want to be to? Or like, I think of that Jeanette McCurdy line where she says, oh, well, you went through all this and it made you have such good you got such good character out of it. And it's like, I could have afforded less character. And so as happy as I am that things worked out for me and that I didn't just become like this prisoner to my own teenage pain, there's a part of me that's like, I could have gone a little bit without some of it. Just a little bit. When I was getting backed into a corner with a knife, I think I could have gone without that. Something's telling me. But that told me, sometimes I wonder about even that specific one where I'm like, as rough as that was, as hard as that was to deal with, I learned a lot about, when you're sitting in a corner with a man looking at you and he's got a knife in his hand, let me tell you something, you learn a lot about men in a split second. You learn a lot about men. And the thing I learned was that they will kill you in a fucking instant. They will kill you. And there is never anyone in a room you should care more about protecting than yourself, ever. I don't love any man, even the one sleeping in my bed right now, more than I care about being alive. Oh my God. So, lines in the chorus where I say, where I locked myself in my room to survive, that was that moment. I literally was dating somebody and I wanted them to leave so badly, and he would not leave. He wouldn't leave my house. And I went and locked myself in my bedroom to get him to leave, and he picked the door with a knife and came in and backed me into the corner with it. He backed me into the corner with a knife. And then the animal in me came out. When I tell you, that animal in me came out so fucking fast. And I was like, you better put that fucking knife down or I'm gonna go fucking ballistic. And he put it down and he was like, did you think I was actually gonna hurt you? I don't know. I'm a woman standing in a corner and you're a man backing me into it with a knife. Did you think I would actually hurt you? Oh my God. So, as much as I think I could have done without experiences like that, at the same time, I'm like, they shaped me a lot and they taught me a lot. And I've learned now that my biggest priority is me, and I'm not sorry for that. I don't feel apologetic for that whatsoever. I think I've gone enough in my life prioritizing other people that it's absolutely perfectly acceptable that I prioritize myself for once in my life. And you need to find someone. You don't need to do anything. Fuck me. Tell me to go fuck myself. You don't need to do anything. But if you decide to venture out into the love realm, if you decide that you want someone to share your life with and you don't want to do it all by yourself, and that you want someone to share in beautiful sunrises with you and sit on the recliner with you, hopefully that's not someone who does stuff like that to you, that they don't back you into corners with knives, that they actually love you so gently and so tenderly that when you get it, it almost makes you wonder, like, it makes you think deeper about yourself. Like, I remember when he first held my hand in public and I was like, how did I ever think I loved anybody else? How did my brain even think that? Like, clearly this is who I'm meant to be with. And I hope that for everyone. I want that feeling for everybody. I don't ever want someone to be in a relationship and they have to sit there and question why they're being treated a certain way. I'd much rather that be on the flip side of it, of like, why did I let the other guys I'm being treated so well in this one, like, it's making me wonder why I let the other guys treat me the way that they did. And sometimes that's a really hard question to answer. Like, I'm not saying you're going to love that answer, but I think it's an important one to get to. And, I just, life has a way of being very hard on us, but I think with the right eyes and the right mentality, we can work through it, and the right people, whether it's platonically or romantically or familially. But, I don't think familially is a word. I think it's familial, but I think I'm making shit up. But yeah, anyway, that's my whole spiel, and that's the summary of the song. It's not really a romantic song. As much as it is, it's kind of not. It's more about the connection you have with yourself and the relationship with yourself, and learning how to accept that you did not deserve the things that happened to you previously. Like, you and if you're not somebody who's been through really hard to get out of moments, I think that's hard to understand. Like, I see people sometimes, it sounds so weird, I don't want to make it sound like not everyone has their own shit going on, but I think you can just tell when someone hasn't, I don't want to put it the wrong way, but it's like sometimes you can just tell when someone's just had a lot of luck in life. That's the best way I'll put it. It's not that they haven't been through things or had hard things happen to them, but when it comes to maybe one area like love, they've just been very lucky and they haven't had to deal with like abuse maybe, or like fearing for your life. That's what I'm talking about, like the most extreme you can get. And I'm very, very happy for them. I hope that, that's all I hope for anybody, but not all of us get so lucky. And I think sometimes when you're in situations like that, it's really, really hard to not just get out to begin with and leave that relationship, but also to then mentally get out and not carry it with you your whole life and not let it affect your future relationships. That's almost the hardest part. Leaving is easy, but, not letting it stick with you, that's the hard part. So anyway, that's my spiel, and that's where I'll officially call it done. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching the sunrise with me. I sure enjoyed talking through it. I'm sure she's sick of hearing me talk though. So I'm gonna log off and go get some coffee. All right, bye. Love you. Sorry my lips are chapped. Don't comment on them. I can't stop my own video.